I have a story to tell you about what happened to me when I was an intern in a company, a state institution. I mean, in my youth, I had a friend, Validia. We graduated from the 8th grade and we thought we should get some work experience. And the guidance counselor told us, "Oh, you want experience? Go to the typewriter factory. You can work there as typists." So we did. We went to the typewriter factory as typists. Back then, everyone was taught their profession right at school. You were assigned to a group where you were taught your future profession. For example, to be a hairdresser, electrician, turner, carpenter, typist, etc. At that time, my father had recently been promoted to chief engineer, and he was very upset that I hadn't chosen engineering, but I knew I wasn't cut out for it. I finished the technical school and became a typist, and we found ourselves among women with chemistry who were hammering away at typewriters. There were probably 10 of them, and we sat and worked. They paid no attention to us at all. They only gave us assignments. These women were constantly discussing someone in the most negative way. They scolded, mocked, shook out dirty laundry, made assumptions. They commented and expressed opinions, as they call it now. They were very angry, and they seemed old and scary. When one left the office, the others would furiously pounce on her personality. In general, the atmosphere was poisonous. And there was one girl about 30 years old. She also seemed quite old to us. We were 15. This girl did not participate in the discussions. She sat and hammered away at the typewriter. Only the carriage whizzed, and the carbon paper rustled. She was quiet, and the others were loud. The women were yelling at each other. So one day they left the office, probably for lunch, and we sat down next to this typewriter girl, and I remember I untied my shoe. And she looked at me and whispered, "Don't untie your shoes, they'll scold you." Why? Because you're still considered students? And they say you don't work well enough. They're jealous. Don't tie your shoes. Don't talk to them. Pretend you're working. They'll leave you alone. So we sat in silence. The girls returned and they didn't bother us. Probably because we pretended to be working and we heard everything. They talked about their personal lives, their husbands, their problems, and they spoke loudly, rudely, and obscenely. And they said, "If this bitch shows up again, we'll rip her to shreds." What do you mean? She comes here once a week. She takes dictation from the director, then she leaves. She doesn't work. Why does she get paid? That's our money. She gets paid, but doesn't work. Does the bastard think we don't know who she is? She's the bastard's mistress. He gives her money and she goes shopping. A nasty little minx. What's her name? Ira. Oh, Ira. Yes, that tramp is always buying perfume. She smells like perfume. Nasty. And the bastard lets her buy stuff while we smell like stale sweat and old fart. The bastard's wife must be some relative of a monkey. How else could she put up with him? She's deaf to everything. She's totally oblivious. She's a plant. She's just like him, a cog in the machine. They're both fools. Yes, fools. He's a fool and she's a fool. Tell me, did you see her husband? Oh, yes, you did. He was here yesterday. He came to see his beloved. He picked her up at 4:30 and they left together. They were giggling like school kids. Can you imagine? At their age, they giggle like children. Nasty people. They were gone for 2 hours. 2 hours. Do you know what they were doing? Having fun. And we have to work until 7 o'clock. Until 7 o'clock. Where's the fairness? We work, we suffer, we stink. We have families. And these bastards, they screw. They go shopping, eat well, and laugh. They also talked about how the guy who had brought me and Volodya, the head of the personnel department, was having an affair with the chief accountant. He's been after her for a long time. Our director isn't interested. He's got a good position and a pension. He doesn't care. But this poor woman, she's suffering. She's tormented. The bastard is forcing her. He calls her from home. He comes to her house. She cries. Her husband beats her. She doesn't know what to do. The bastard makes her work harder and harder. She's already lost weight. She's always late. And now she's nervous. Everyone sees it, but no one dares to speak up. And they hated this girl. The thing is, she was getting married. That's why they hated her. They said all sorts of things. Dirt and nastiness. And they rummaged through her things. No, they didn't steal anything. They waited until she went out to the boss, or to the toilet, or to the cafeteria. And they searched the pockets of her coat. They undressed in the little closet right in the office. And they climbed into her bag. And into the papers on the table. And into the drawers of the desk. It was so wild. But they didn't consider Maneka and me as people and weren't embarrassed. And one day they found an onion in this employee's desk drawer, an ordinary onion. Well, maybe she took it out of her bag, or she wanted to eat it in the cafeteria. Who knows? But the witch's glee knew no bounds. Look, an onion. The slut in slut has an onion in her desk. And someone is marrying this dirty woman. Just think about it. An onion. What a coupleina. She's eating onions on the sly. She's probably sick with something indecent. And some fool is marrying her. They were laughing artificially. They were making faces, pretending to be a girl who's just come out, examining the onion as if it were evidence of a monstrous crime. They're always searching. They're scurrying around, watching, creating fake accounts and spying on them. Opening desk drawers and rummaging through purses, ... They're collecting all the gossip and rumors, spying and spying, searching ... They're looking for some clues, some proof that someone else got their happiness unfairly. That he's bad, dirty, low, just like them. They're searching. They're spending their whole lives on it. This is their life, surveillance and peeping. And they will give even an onion their abnormal meaning, if they find it. And we left. The practice is over, and the girl left. She left with her cadet to her place of service, and they stayed. Sometimes it seems to me that they are still sitting in that stuffy gray room and typing on their typewriters. Only they have the internet, but there is no happiness. And they cannot stand the happiness of others either. And everyone is looking for evidence of unknown misdeeds and sins of those they envy, sins and grounds for their anger and envy. And I understand them. They have nowhere to go. They live in the same city, in the same apartment building. Their children study at the same school. They meet their neighbors every day. They greet each other. They wish each other a good morning. They bump into each other at the store. They talk about the weather, the prices, the queues. They discuss their children, brag about their vacations. They are polite. They are friendly. They don't hate each other. It's just that they don't have anything else to talk about. They have nothing else to discuss. Their lives are limited to the office, their work, their families, and their apartments. That's all. They don't travel anywhere. They don't invite anyone over. They don't go to cafes. They don't watch movies. They don't read books. They don't know what's going on in the world. They're afraid of everything new. They're afraid of change. They bury themselves alive and live according to the principle of my life is the worst, so everyone else's should be the same, and I'm glad I'm not like them. I recently read somewhere that if you want to make an accurate psychological portrait of a person, it's not enough to ask them questions and listen to their answers. You need to look through their trash cans. I think that's right. A person throws away what they don't need, what they don't value, but they keep what they love and cherish. And it's not uncommon for people to collect trash.